everyone, it's Rachel here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a really exciting video. I'm going to talk to you guys all about all the books that I plan to read in September. And as you can see from the thumbnail, I have a ton of books that I want to read this month. I think this is probably my most ambitious TBR to date, and that is because the Contemporary-a-thon round 5 is taking place later this month. So I have quite a few books that I plan on reading for that, as well as the rest of the month. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, the first book that I definitely plan on reading is Champion by Marie Lu. This is the third and final book in the Legend trilogy. I read both Legend and Prodigy this past month. I listened to the audiobooks for them and I enjoyed them both. I gave them both 3.5 stars. I will definitely go more into depth about the summary of this series as well as my thoughts about the first two books in my August wrap-up, which should be uploaded next week. But yeah, I'm definitely really excited to see how this trilogy ends and where our characters go from the end point of Prodigy. Next book on my TBR is Three Dark Crowns by Kendara Blake. This is a fantasy series that has 4 books. The fourth and final book is actually coming out in just a couple of weeks, and I actually pre-ordered it, and I'm really excited to get that in the mail so that I will have the full series to read. So I really don't know much about this series. I know that it's pretty well loved by the booktube community, and it is about 3 triplets who live on the island of Fenburn, and they're essentially raised so that one day they will compete for the throne of Fenburn, and to do that they have to kill the other 2 off. And I've heard that this is just a really dark and intense fantasy series, so I'm really excited to get into it. The next book on my TBR is a pretty obscure book. I don't think many people have heard of it. That's Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I actually started a reread of this entire series. I've actually only read the books once, and so I've started a reading vlog series where I will chronicle my reading experience of every book. I've already posted my Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone reading vlog, so if you are interested in seeing that, I will definitely link it down below. The next 2 books that I'm really excited to get to are the next 2 books in the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. This is the 3rd book called Shadow Kiss and the 4th book called Blood Promise. I read the first 2 books, which are called Vampire Academy and Frostbite, this past month and really enjoyed them. I'll definitely give you guys my in-depth thoughts about those 2 books in my August wrap-up as well. But yeah, this is just a really good paranormal YA series. I'm kind of sad that I didn't know about these books when I was in high school because I probably would have been obsessed with them at the time, but I'm actually really enjoying them. You know, for a series that was written in 2007, it's actually not problematic and it's actually pretty good quality. So yeah, I just can't wait to read the next 2 books in the series this month. Alright, and I have a few more fantasy books to talk about. I just realized that most of this TBR is YA fantasy, but honestly, I'm so here for that. So the next book on my TBR is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyan. This is a book that a ton of people on BookTube have really been raving about. I don't know much about the plot except that it centers around Lay, and there's this society where there's castes of people, and I think the paper caste is like the lowest rank, and there's this demon king that has a harem of women, and I think Lay ends up being in that harem. Yeah, as you can tell, I don't know much about this book, but the cover is gorgeous and I've heard so many good things about it. And I'm also excited because this is going to be a series, and I think the 2nd book is coming out in a couple of months. So if I really enjoy this, I definitely plan on picking up the next book. This next book I am so excited about because it is by one of my favorite authors of all time, and that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a YA fantasy retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and it centers around Harper, who is actually a character that has cerebral palsy. I'm really interested to see how the rep for that works in this book. I've heard that it's amazing, and Bridget Kemmerer is just such an incredible author. She's definitely more well known for her YA contemporaries. I read both Letters to the Lost and More Than We Can Tell a few months back and absolutely loved them, so I'm really excited to see how she is in the fantasy genre. Alright, and the last book in my general TBR for the month is Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. I honestly can't believe that I'm already at this point in the Throne of Glass series. For those of you guys that don't know, I've actually been doing a whole reading vlog series about my experience reading these books, so if you're interested in that, I have a whole playlist on my channel of all of those vlogs. Yeah, this is book 5 in the Throne of Glass series. I was absolutely obsessed with Queen of Shadows. I gave that 5 stars, and I'm just so excited to see where the series goes from here. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about the Contemporary-a-thon round 5. This is a readathon that is run by Chelsea Darling Reads and Pages and Pens. Mel to the Any, I think one other booktuber that I can't remember at the moment, but this is a readathon where there are 7 prompts, and basically it's just a readathon all about reading contemporary novels, whether that be YA, adult, you know, it's really up to you as far as what you want to read. So I'm just so excited about this round. There's some really great prompts and I'm gonna go through all of them. I have them all written down in my really cute reading journal. And yeah, let's just get into it. So the first prompt is read a 2019 release. Most of the books that I have in my little stack here are 2019 releases. And a few of these prompts, pretty much all of these prompts could easily be overlapped. So you could easily have one book for 2 or 3 prompts if you wanted. But specifically for 2019, I think I'm gonna go with Well Met by Jen DeLuca. This is a romance novel that came out, I think, officially in September, but I got it from Book of the Month last month. So basically it's about this girl who moves to a small town and she gets roped into volunteering at this Renaissance fair, and then her love interest is in charge of the volunteers. And I think this is kind of a hate to love trope, which is one of my favorites in romance. But yeah, the cover is adorable, the synopsis is adorable, so I can't wait to read it for the Contemporary-a-thon. Also, I want to mention, I didn't even tell you guys what the dates are for the Contemporary-a-thon. It's September 23rd through the 29th. You can definitely find more information about it on Chelsea Dolan Reads booktube channel, and I will also link the channels of the other booktubers that are hosting it. So yeah, let's just keep going through the prompts. The next one is read a contemporary with yellow on the cover, and for that one I'm reading The Bride Test by Helen Huang. I am so pumped to read this book. I read The Kiss Quotient, which is also by Helen Huang. That book came out last year and I read that this past month and absolutely adored it, gave it 5 stars. It was just so good, and I'm really excited to read this. This is essentially a companion novel to The Kiss Quotient, and it is about Kai, who was a very minor character in The Kiss Quotient, and basically I think his mom gets a mail order bride for him and the plot goes on from there. But I just know that I'm going to love this. I just know it. Helen Huang is quickly becoming one of my all-time favorite authors. The next prompt is read a diverse contemporary, and for that one I am reading The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I know. I have no excuse for not reading this book because it is probably one of the most iconic YA novels out there. So many people have been raving about it. I know that I'm going to love it. I don't know too much about this plot except that it was inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, and it centers around this girl named Star who witnesses a best friend of hers getting murdered by a police officer. So obviously it has to deal with police brutality and gun violence. I know that this book is probably going to wreck me, and I am so ready for it. The next prompt is read a contemporary with an illustrated cover. So I can definitely double up that with either Well Met or Bride Test because they are both illustrated. The challenge after that is read a dark or hard-hitting contemporary. I could also double that up with The Hate You Give. The next one after that is read a contemporary with plants on the cover. For that one, I'm going to read The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. I don't know why it has taken me so long to finally get to this book, but it has. I don't know too much about the plot except that it centers around this group of girls who, after finding out that this one girl was essentially kind of run out of town after accusing the popular guys of raping her, they have decided to form a group to get justice for this girl. I know that this is going to be really intense but really awesome at the same time. And yeah, I'm just really excited to finally get to this. I have had this on my shelves for almost a year at this point, so it is definitely time to finally read it. And the very last prompt is read a contemporary that is beloved by a member of the community. And for that one, I'm going to read Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. So this book is beloved by so many people, but the person that comes to mind for me is Kat from, I believe her booktube channel is Paperback Reads or something along those lines. I will definitely link her channel below. She's really funny. But I know that she absolutely adores this book, and I know absolutely nothing about this book except that it's definitely a more character-driven book as opposed to a plot-driven book. but yeah, it's just very well known as an awesome YA contemporary, so I can't wait to get to it this month. So yeah, as you can tell, this is a very, very ambitious TBR, but I don't think I'll have any problem at all reading all of these books, and I'm just so excited to get into them this month. And that's going to be it for this TBR video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you would consider subscribing. Don't forget to push that notification bell button below so that you'll be notified every time I upload. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!